Hi, welcome back to another episode of DTF Garage, coming to you from North Carolina. We decided to move to the other side of the country to be closer to cars and race car things, so we are in North Carolina now. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to install the dual Snorkel VelossaTech intake big mouth ram air horns onto your 22 to 24 Ford Maverick. The installation of these dual Snorkel tubes is pretty easy and pretty straightforward. It's mostly just time consuming. So follow me and let's get started. So the first step is to remove the bumper for your truck. There are 8 bolts underneath that you have to remove to get the bumper completely off. You don't necessarily have to have it completely off to finish this job, and I'm lazy, so I'm not going to finish doing it, but this gives me enough access to the grill and airbox so I can install these. I'm not going to show you how to remove the bumper because there are plenty of videos here on YouTube that explain it. Now, for these Snorkels, there is some cutting and modification that needs to be made, so if you don't want to do that, you're probably not going to want to buy these. The active grill shutter is in the way for this to go back all the way, so to install these you have to cut this portion out here and remove the top 5 active shutter blades on both sides. If you don't want to do that, I highly recommend finding something else or not going with this solution. I'm installing the dual ram air snorkel, so I have one that will be going on each side of this. So to get each of these out, you really just kind of need to pull on them and wiggle them out and just kind of fiddle with them a little bit. It doesn't take too much effort. Just kind of give it a little bit of a bend. Snap that side out and then twist the other side out. It's pretty easy to do without actually breaking these. And VelossaTech recommends holding on to these even though you're not going to be reusing them. So hang on to them in case you need to revert your truck back to stock. The next thing to do is remove these 2 tabs from either side of this air tube going to your airbox. Obviously this is a replacement for the S&B, but it's going to be the same if you have the factory air snorkel here. Just remove those 2 tabs on the side and remove that piece. One step of the VelossaTech directions that is not in the directions but needs to be done is that this shroud needs to be removed, and the instructions don't show them putting it back on either. I don't like the thought of that because this helps control the airflow going into the grill. So what I'm going to do is remove these 4 tabs here, and then I'm going to cut the shroud here and here. That way I still have it directing the airflow on the bottom of the sides, but I don't have these in the way of the dual Snorkels. So I use my Dremel tool here and here on the sides to get this top part off. This is also connected and held on with clips here in the bottom just to keep it stable, but it comes off pretty easily. So now that we've got this piece exposed here, you need to cut this back about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and it needs to be about 6 inches wide, the width of this gap here. Same thing with this, even though this intake side is a lot smaller, and this only works with the dual Snorkel kit if you have the S&B filter kit. If you don't have the S&B filter kit, that port is blocked off on the back by the stock shroud, so you're not going to need that. But for the dual kit, that's what you need. We're going to do the same thing here, and it's going to bolt into these holes right here where those tabs were just holding on the piece that I removed. Now, if you're doing the dual Snorkel kit, it comes with these, and these are to keep the active grill shutters working. If you don't care if they open and close and just want them to stay open, you can just leave it. You don't really have to mess with it. If you want to keep that functionality for the bottom 6 to keep working, then you'll need to install these. You don't need this with the single Snorkel because you have all the grill slats on the driver's side, so it'll still function properly. These little guys are marked P and D for driver's side. As you can see, I've already got the driver's side one in. And you'll see on the passenger side here that this just goes in here. You want to snugly push that in. They are designed to be tight. And then you'll see one out of these two holes, for me it's the top one, is going to line up with one of these holes down here, and you're going to put the screw in. That way when this turns and opens, these flaps are going to go up and down with it, so your flaps are going to still be working. And keep in mind that that does control both of the lower flaps for the intercooler as well as the upper flaps here. So you put the screw directly into the lever and use the spacer that they provided, and then just drill it in with a 4 Allen wrench. Now that you've done that, comes the fun part. So I'm going to take my grinder and I'm going to grind this section out of the radiator shroud. Obviously be careful when you're doing that you don't cut into your AC condenser here. There is a pretty good gap between those, so as long as you're not going crazy, you should be fine. But you've got your 2 6-inch holes cut out here, and then comes the fun part that we've been waiting for. So I'm going to go ahead and test fit my Snorkels here. You can see that hole lines up with that there, and that one lines up with this at the top, covering that opening. And that sits nice and flush, no additional cutting needed, so we are good to go and mount these up. Once you have your air snorkel on the back here, you're going to want to go in and disconnect this connector from your hood latch sensor here. And that's going to give you access to this hole, which is needed to do the passenger side snorkel. You're going to stick the screw from the back side, line up your snorkel, put your washer and the bolt on the front. I'm using a 5/32 Allen on the back and an 8mm for the front nut. Now once you've got them installed, you can go ahead and put everything back together in the reverse order, and you're good to go.
All right, there it is. That's it. That's all it takes to install the VelossaTech Big Mouth Dual Ram Air Kit on your 22 to 24 and possibly the upcoming 2025 Ford Maverick. As always, thank you for watching DTF Garage. Your views and support are always appreciated. My name is Brad, and remember, stay busy.